Set. Hi guys, welcome to the Bold Analysis. We are bringing you this podcast live from Gongoni, where we are helping widowed mother of 6 guys. Where na tukumbalia, I try my Swahili. Huku ndipo Mama Zadi alikuwa anaishi. Sasa ndio ile nyumba tulikuja tukapata kwa mahali ambapo alikuwa na hali imekuwa ngumu sana. Mama, labda utuambie kwamba kwa sasa tunakujengea nyumba ambapo tutaenda kuonesha wale wenzetu vile nyumba imefika. Lakini kuna swali ambao tunajiuliza sana. Ningetaka kujua nini biashara gani ambayo unaweza fanya ili alao hata baada ya kujengea pia uweze kuwa unaweza ukasaidia familia.
Naweza fanya biashara ya kuuza mchicha, tomato, ndizi, maembe, machungwa.
Then hapa inaweza kupatia kama faida kama pesa ngapi kwa siku?
Kama ni mchicha naweza pata, kinunua mchicha wa 200, faida ni 200.
Lakini utafanya?
Naweza fanya.
Sawa. Acha sasa tumekuja. So guys, this is where she was living. Tunataka tuende to the new house, the house they were building. We just want you to see how far we've reached since I came here on Friday. On Thursday sikuwa nimerudi, so I wanted us to come and see. So labda we can go, tunaweza enda. So yeah, this is the other place. This is the house. So this is the house we're building. And I want us to join us. David is joining us from this end. David is the one who has been in charge. David,
Yes.
Hii nyumba, what is remaining? Nini imebaki?
Okay, as you see, we only
Can show them,
we only remain with plastering and some 2 windows and 1 door.
2 windows, 1 door.
Yes.
So window is Kawira, it is this one?
This one.
First? Yes.
The other one is this one.
Yeah, this other one here. Yeah, 2 and the window. Now, labda, David, how much does this whole need? Because I think that is what is remaining. All of you guys plaster. So, what is remaining in terms of the 2 windows? Ni how much? Mlango, dirisha ni pesa ngapi zote?
Mlango, dirisha inakuja 30,000.
Inakuja 30,000.
Yes.
Milango 2, mlango moja,
dirisha
2 plus the plastering.
Yeah, plus.
Michanga imeisha ama imebaki?
Michanga imeisha. Mishanga iko.
Mchanga iko.
Yes.
So what is not there ni? For plastering.
For plastering, ni simiti peke yake.
Simiti peke yake.
Yes.
This is where she was. As for those who are hearing this for the first time, amepiti changamoto sana. She was at some point in the street after she was chased from where she was married, and she was chased after the husband died, and she went to the street. She was stranded, so we made plans. Akarudishwa hapa. This is where she was born, and she was in that house ulikuwa umeona. So that is how fight has been. Kawira has been engaging her. Kawira is in charge of community engagement and all that. So she was spent some quality time with her, and we wanted to get a view on the issue of birth control.
So one thing that I was able to establish, number one, Zawadi has 6 kids, but 7 died.
7 died?
Yes. So she has given birth to 13 kids in 13 total.
Kids.
Yes. So, and when we were talking, and I've realized it's an issue here in Malindi. I don't know whether it's in the coast, in Kilifi, sorry. I don't know whether it's in the coast region, that there is so many people that have so many children that they cannot afford to raise. Yes, there's a lot of kids around here, and the parent, even you can see some of the houses that they are living in, you wonder how they are living with all those children. And tukiongea na, one thing I was able also to establish is that there is a lot of misinformation and misconception around, what do we call it? Birth control, family planning. There's a lot of misconception because Zawadi told me that she's never used any form of birth control. And I asked her why. And she told me it's because someone told her that once you use birth control, as a woman, you are not able, you become weak. You see this work she's doing, like kugonga mawe, sijui kubeba mchanga, kubeba maji. She was told you can't do those works. Once you get the birth control, your body becomes weak. And she believed it and she moved with it.
That she's accepted to probably now go for it.
Now I've talked to her, we've come to an understanding. Nimemwelezea this. I also don't have, I'm trying also to understand the same thing, but we talked with her. Nikamwelezea what I know, what I think is the best, and she was very open. And she was like, it's just that she was told. It's not like she amekataa. It's just that someone told her, this is what you're supposed to, this and this is what happens. Now she was afraid, but now she has accepted. And I believe the biggest problem we have actually I think in the country, not even just the coast part, because so far, Kevin, we've dealt with so many women this year.
Yes. So, guys, I just wanted you to have a feel of what we're actually dealing with. So, kindly, the bit of remaining is the plaster, the windows, and the erasures. Any amount that can come on the way for that will be highly appreciated. That is what I want us to fai kesho, at least tuweze kununua, tumalize ili tuweze kumwachia, alafu pia the business. If we get probably some 10,000, we can leave for her, aanze kufanya biashara ndogo ndogo. Now, this podcast is going to be very brief. And it is very brief this way. Mount Kenya MPs who campaigned for the UDA candidate in Mbeere North are struggling within the media spaces to defend themselves from the use of money. And in this video, I want you to see how Madenge, the Nyeri Town Member of Parliament, Dan Madenge, the Nyeri Town Member of Parliament, struggled, fumbled to explain himself on whether really they used money or not. And this is going to explain to you why they're not in a very safe state so far.
Close the case. How much money did you spend on Mbeere North as government?
Government did not spend any money in Mbeere North from where I sit.
Where you stand? Where is that?
I went into Mbeere North. I went into Mbeere North and utilized my own resources in campaigning for my party. In campaigning for my party.
Sorry, you said government did not spend any money?
From where I operated there for 7 days. I did not receive any money from government. I did not seek any money from government.
So let me ask you,
I went and plugged in.
Sit in the National Assembly. How
Yes.
much does it cost to move the deputy president?
I believe there is a cost. There is a cost involved in the deputy president moving.
So why would you say
The deputy president is not just involved in the day-to-day executive functions. He is also a political figure.
That's what I'm asking. Why would you say no money was spent in Mbeere North? That's misleading.
Because when you ask me how much money, I never sat in any of the sittings where government money was spent.
So the answer cannot be no money. The only answer can be you don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say I will accept I don't know. However, sitting here, you are not in the judiciary to decide that the outcome of the elections. These two gentlemen have been to court. They have won some, they have lost some. Let us leave that decision to the court.
Whatever amount of money was used in any by-election, in the November 27 by-elections, might not really be important today. But what is important is, were there undue influence? Was there corruption? Because that is against the electoral principles. Mm-hmm. So if there were electoral malpractice that involve undue influence using money or corruption, then we must condemn that. But I think every political party that fielded a candidate had a budget to finance their by-elections and had a plan and structure and strategy to win those elections. And I congratulate my party, ODM. They won Magarini, Kasipul, Ugunja, and, That's a good show. So I think the party structures had a budget and they've done that. But what you have raised, Sam, there's a red flag. If the coming election 2027 will be the same way on what we are saying today, that money will play a major role, then we are not likely to have the candidates that the people want. Because when people go to an election, they buy the policy and they put the people in office based on their suitability and competency and how they have campaigned in a free, fair, and transparent election. So that is what we want to see. But there was a bill in Parliament on campaign financing. Mm-hmm. I don't know where it is today. Maybe Muriu and my good friend Madenge would know. And the what do you call it? The regulations around it. That would help a lot going forward.
So, yes, we've had the celebration, and I think I analyzed in some previous video here that behind the bravado and the chest thumping about how the Kenya Kwanza team won the election, the by-elections, behind the closed doors is a big worry that is lingering. And there's been a conversation about the state of the Mount Kenya politics at the moment. You need to understand that the place, yes, the winning hype is there. But even at the day of the election, many members of parliament, the whole place was very hostile and they were not even there. Recently, when the president was launching some project, this Rironi Road, Kimani Chungwa was heckled. Yeah, and people questioned, yes, this is one of the popular MPs. Where was he heckled? It actually shows you the architecture of our politics. The MPs, you will agree with me, are struggling to explain themselves on trying to defend the fact that money was used probably to sway the Mbere vote. And that puts them at a very critical place at the moment. I understand that the party has put strict measures after the by-election. There have been a clique of MPs who decided to stay back. Mwangi Kiunjuri was amongst the team that was supposed to spearhead the by-election campaigns in Mbere amongst Mount Kenya MPs, but allegedly pulled out and has never stepped or never congratulated or never commented on that by-election or throughout the campaign. There is also a team by Kimani Kuria. Kimani Kuria is the current Molo Member of Parliament who also stayed back. Remember, his house was burnt down at the heart of the Gen Z protest, and there were reports that he was promised that wewe usijali tutakusaidia tutaweza kujenga, and not that has come forth. So he's also not very comfortable with what is going on. But generally, we understand that it is only a clique of some few MPs that has hyped the by-election win in Mbere. You will see Ndindi Nyoro, even a day after what happened when the church was attacked in Kariobangi, for the first time, he rose and condemned it, calling it, of course, in defense of the former Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua. Now, that is a really real thing, a real concern currently in Mount Kenya that cannot be ignored. And while the caucus was supposed to coalesce, that has been coalescing around Kithure Kindiki has been reducing, the headache that they face at the moment is the fact that amount of money that was put in Mbere to win that by-election, it compounds the problem, because you need to understand that money was used at a place where empowerment forums were conducted throughout. So in terms of the presence of what the state did there, empowerment programs were really done in Mbere. The Mbere North is where the UDA party chairperson comes from, that is Governor Cecil Mbarire. And Mbeere North is part of the larger Mount Kenya East. And there have been a click when Kindiki was campaigning in Mbeere. There is a political statement that he made saying that mnaona sasa mimi nyinyi for the first time tumepata mmoja wetu kutoka upande huu to mean Mbeere East ameingia kwa serikali akapata hiyo kiti ya deputy ama ameingia kwa presidency, alafu sasa nyinyi mnaambiwa sasa serikali ni wabaya. Well, at that time when them referring to the other part of the Gema, they were in the wheeling seat, the government was fine. That is the that is the kind of the ugly politics that was played there. That was the dirty politics that was played there by the same people that are masquerading as castigating the politicians who are brewing the tribal card at the table. So it's a very delicate one at the moment. It is, remember, even the president himself never campaigned in Mbeere. He never campaigned in Mbeere. Never. So as much as they take the credit, if he would himself had gone there to campaign against the deputy president, it would have been a different story. Even though I've seen Rigathi Gachagua akiondokea your story saying, you know, DCP did not have a candidate in Mbeere. I also strongly believe if DCP would be allowed to field Duncan Mbuyi, yes, they would have had a very strong campaign. However, the state was determined to take Mbeere. Mbeere North was never about who is the opponent. It was a state survival, and there is no way the opposition would take it from the state. It was grabbed for political optics. They needed it to appear strong. They needed it to subdue Rigathi Gachagua. They needed it for momentum building and narrative shaping. And that is why it is something that is coming. However, these are my 4 factors playing out why Mount Kenya MPs are worried about this. I understand that a press briefing was called on Saturday evening in one of the hotels, and the press briefing was supposed to be a solidarity on praising Kithure Kindiki for having delivered the seat to the UDA party, and this was to be, it was organized by a clique of the MPs that do coalesce around the current deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, but people pulled last minute. And the meeting that was supposed to be co-chaired by the Dagoretti South Member of Parliament, John KJ Carrier, did not see the light of the day. Carrier is the chairperson, is one of the leaders of the Mount Kenya caucus, so it didn't see the light of the day. You'll pay attention and understand, even Anne Waiguru, who had been a strong critic of Rigathi Gachagua, is yet to congratulate Wamudende. And you will look around and find how many governors from the larger Mount Kenya region even issued a congratulation message on Wamudende. Now, the real thing why the Mudende win was pushed was to achieve a political image, a political optics that, contrary to message that we are out of Mount Kenya, we still have our vote there. That is why it was needed. But this is what is worrying the MPs based on the fact that state machinery and the money that was spent in Mbeere North. Number one, you know, it is when the financial resources is put at the center of that politics, where is the guarantee that you'll be given that much? Where is the guarantee that you will also have the state resources, the amount of money that was poured in Mbeere North? Will you be able to replicate that in all the Mount Kenya constituencies? Because most probably what is most likely going to happen here is the president will look for his national votes. He will go for votes in Somalia, in Northeastern. He'll go to votes in Nyanza, go to Western, go to everywhere. But for Mount Kenya, you need that constituency. Now, it is not really true, and that is the projection, that it is not really true that William Ruto influence in Mount Kenya is high, because the use of money means that the scorecard that an MP, a governor, or a senator is supposed to use for him to catapult himself to the to get a win against his opponents is not guaranteed. And if that is not guaranteed, then you find yourself in a very difficult space. So with the excess use of money, the challenge why they're actually warming up to feel of the alternative parties they can pick is it means that the scorecard is not really available, and it's not the convincing factor when you're facing your opponents. Probably this is just one of the factors. Do you think UDA was prominent there? Do you think UDA was prominent? The fact of the matter here is the Mbeere North never picked the party. They never picked the party. The by-election would have been an ideal opportunity to project the party as the party that people has picked. I've seen people trying to link UDA. It is not the party that was at stake compared to the other areas where the DCP candidates won. It was really a race on political parties. So there is a thin line as a leader now to try to think as guys. Politics is centered around a political party. Do I have the political party to guarantee me the win? That is a big question. And that leaves more gap for someone to think, guy, I need to think through and see if I can pick. Most probably what's most going to happen is people re-strategize, people change positions, and leaders try to look for what can work for them at what point. Lastly, the use of state resources, okay, the use of resources, excessive use of those resources to push the government agenda, even on winning it, it is a big stab on the side of the government, because that way, how about if your opponent is also having that money? As a government, as an MP who is on the side of government, what is your edge? Your edge should be on what the government you serve has done for the people. But if you center it on money, is it really true that as an individual, as a member of parliament, you have all the resources that can match your opponent? You can outdo your opponent in terms of resources, even if you are an MP who's on the side of UDA. So it is a thin space, and that is why quite a number of them are shifting allegiance. Thank you.